So do you also use Wix Forms to get more potential clients and inquiries for your business? Then this video is definitely for you. So over here I'm doing the same. So hello all, welcome back to Pabbly Connect, and in this video we are going to understand how to notify team on Google Chat for Wix Forms submission. So over here I'm running a travel agency and we use Wix to get the potential client details. So now what I want is that as soon as a new form submission is made in my Wix Forms, automatically my team on Google Chat should be notified about the new potential client details received so that we can follow up quickly and efficiently. So to do this, we're going to create a connection between Wix and Google Chat. To create this connection without knowing any programming or coding language, we are going to use Pabbly Connect. It is an amazing automation software. So do you also wish to learn this process step by step? Then let me take you to my computer screen. Welcome to my screen, everyone. So as you know that you are here to learn about how to notify team on Google Chat for Wix Forms submission. So as I told in my introduction that I am managing a travel agency and we use Wix Forms to capture the inquiries from client interested in our trips, tours and vacation packages. So to ensure that our team is promptly notified about the new inquiries, I want to set up an automation. What will happen is that as soon as a new form submission is made in my Wix form, which is as soon as we receive a new inquiry, automatically my team on Google Chat would be notified something like this. So yes, you must be wondering that Wix form doesn't provide any native connection with Google Chat. Yes, so how are we going to do this? So in order to create a connection between both of these applications, we're going to use Pabbly Connect. It is an amazing automation and integration software. And in order to create a connection, I've already opened the landing page of Pabbly simply by searching pabbly.com/connect in my browser. It is very easy. So as soon as you're going to open the landing page of Pabbly, we're going to get two options. One is sign in and the other one is sign up for free. So if you're a new user, you can click on sign up for free and you're going to get 100 of tasks free every month. But I'm an existing user, so I'm going to click on sign in right over here. And as I'm going to click on sign in, it is opening all Pabbly apps. Over here, you can see all the tools and applications offered by Pabbly. But in today's video, we are going to use Pabbly Connect because we are connecting different applications, which is Wix and Google Chats. Okay, so I'm going to click on access now right over here to access my Pabbly Connect's account. And as I was going to click on access now, it is opening my dashboard. And to start with this automation, we are going to click on this button which says create workflow. So I'm going to click on this button and now it is asking for the workflow name and the folder I want to save the workflow in. So over here I want to save the workflow in this folder which is automations, and on my dashboard you can see multiple folders which I have already created in which I save my workflows. So if you wish to learn how to create a new folder or a subfolder, you can click on this hyperlink given right over here which says learn more. Okay, and now it is asking for the workflow name, so I want the workflow name to be how to notify team on Google Chat for Wix Forms submission. Wix Forms to Google Chat, and then we're going to click on create. And as we're going to click on create, it is opening the most important window for automation, which is our workflow window. So this is the most important window because we have trigger and action in this. Trigger means when this happens and action means do this. So by this you can understand that the trigger is the commander for the workflow and actions for the commands. And as you know that we can have only a single commander but multiple followers. So here we can have only a single trigger but multiple actions following the commands of our trigger. And by this you can finally understand that the actions are response towards the commands given by our trigger. And in order to start with our automation, we have to select our trigger application. So for my trigger application, I'm going to select it as Wix Forms. So I'm going to look for Wix Forms, and as you can see the same, so we're going to select it. And after selecting the trigger application, it is asking me for the trigger event. So basically trigger event is the event on which the workflow will start. So here what I want is that as soon as a new form submission is made, my workflow should be triggered or started. And as I was going to select the trigger event, it is giving me a webhook URL and few steps. So what we are going to do is, in order to create a connection between Wix Forms and Pabbly's workflow, first we are going to copy this webhook URL right from here, and then we are going to follow these steps. Okay, so it is saying log into your Wix Forms account and go to the automations in your site dashboard. Click on add new automation. So yes, we're going to follow the same. I'm going to open my Wix Forms account right from here, and now from the left side of the bar we have to go on automations. As you can see the same, so we're going to go on this, and after going on automations right from here, we are going to click on add new automation button right over here. And after adding this, you can see that over here are many templates, but I'm going to start it from scratch. So I'm going to click on this button which says add start from scratch. So yes, I'm going to do this. I'm going to click on this button, and as soon as I'm going to do this, it is asking me to select the trigger. So as I told you that the trigger is the commander or the workflow. Okay, so we selected the trigger as Wix Forms right over here, so we're going to select the same right over here only. I'm going to select my trigger as Wix Forms, and now it is saying select a trigger. Okay, so again we have to select form submitted right over here, and it is saying select which forms trigger this automation. So over here, if you wish, you can keep it as any, but I want to keep it as specific, so I'm going to go on the specific right from here, and then I'm going to select my form. So I'm going to click on select right over here, and now over here you can see tools and travel. So I'm going to select it and click on OK. And after selecting my form, we are going to move on forward. It is saying limit frequency. I don't want to limit it, so I'm going to keep it as don't limit. Okay, we're going to move on forward, and now it is asking me to choose the action. So now for the action, we're going to select it as send via webhook. So I'm going to select it right from here, and after selecting send via webhook, it is saying request type post. Okay, and now it is asking me for the target URL. So what we have to do is we're going to paste the URL which we copied from our workflow right over here. So I'm going to paste the URL right over here, which is the target URL, and after pasting this, we are going to select all keys and values, and after doing all of this, we're going to click on this button which says activate, and as soon as I'm going to click on this activate, it is saying name this automation. Okay, so I want to name this automation as test Wix. I'm going to enter it, and then we're going to click on save, and as soon as I'm going to click on save right over here, yes, you can see your new automation is now active. So yes, you can see text Wix added right over here also. So yes, with this we have successfully created a connection between our Pabbly's workflow and our Wix forms. But over here you can see that it is saying waiting for a webhook response, and in the notes it is saying do a test submission / record. So in order to check this connection, or in order to capture this webhook response, we have to do a test submission, where what we have to do is we have to submit a form with the dummy details so that Pabbly can capture the response for the same. So yes, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to open my form which I selected in my connection. I'm going to open it, and as you can see that this is my form. Okay, so we're going to do the test submission with the help of this form only. So now I'm going to enter the details. It is saying first name, so let's suppose I'm going to keep it as demo, last name user, email as demo@pabblytudes.com, and over here it is asking me for the phone number, so I'm going to keep the phone number as this. We're going to move on forward. It is saying your traveling city, suppose we're going to keep it as Bhopal. It is saying preferred departure, so let's suppose I'm going to keep it as 20th, and now it is saying preferred return, so I'm going to keep it as 23, and now it is saying number of travelers, so let's suppose I'm going to keep it as 8, and after doing all of this, we're going to click on submit, and as soon as going to click on submit, it is saying thanks, we have received your submission. So yes, with this we have successfully submitted this form, and with this what has happened is that Wix form has captured the details of this submission and sent it to our workflow. So I'm going to open my workflow and check that if Pabbly has captured the details of the test submission or not. So I'm going to open my workflow, and yes, you can see that Pabbly has also captured the details of the test submission. You can see all the details which we entered. You can see the traveling city, you can see the preferred departure, written. Over here you can see the email which we entered, the phone number, or you can see the first name, the last name, and any another details which we entered. So yes, after getting on all of these details, with this we have successfully completed our trigger step. And now what will happen is that as soon as a new form submission is made in my Wix form, automatically my workflow would get triggered or started. So now let's move on towards our action step. So I'm going to select my action application as Google Charts right over here, because what I want is that as soon as a new form submission is made in my Wix form, automatically my team on Google Chart should be notified, right? So I'm going to select my action application as Google Chart. So I'm going to search for Google Chart right over here, and as you can see Google Chart, so we're going to select it, and after selecting the action application, it is asking me for the action event. So here what I want is I want to send a message, right? So I'm going to select create message, and then we're going to click on connect, and as I'm going to click on connect, it is saying chart webhook URL, and in order to get this chart webhook URL, we have to click on this button which says learn more right over here. Okay, so I'm going to click on this button, and it will redirect me to the forum of Pabbly. We're going to get these steps of how to connect Google Chart with our Pabbly's workflow and how to get this webhook URL. So you can see over here the 9 steps with which you can get the webhook URL. So yes, we're going to follow the same. It is saying open your chart browser, go to the space in which you want to add the webhook. At the top of the space title, click on the drop down arrow. So yes, we're going to follow the same. I'm going to open my Google Chart account, and over here you can see that this is the space I want to send the message in. Okay, so I'm going to select the name of this space, and from here we have to go on this apps and integrations. So I'm going to go on this right from here, and then we have to go on this button which says webhooks, and after going on webhooks, you can see that I've already added a webhook, but over here we're going to add a new. For that, I'm going to click on add webhooks right over here, and now it is asking me for the webhook name. So let's suppose that I'm going to keep the webhook name as test Wix right over here too, and after entering the webhook name, it is saying avatar URL. So if you wish, you can definitely add avatar URL right over here, but I don't wish to add, so directly I'm going to click on save, and as soon as I'm going to click on save, yes, you can see webhook created. So over here we're going to go on the 3 dots, and as you you can see copy link. So I'm going to copy this webhook URL and then we're going to paste it right over here in our workflow. And after pasting the chat webhook URL, it is asking me for the message I want to send. So I want to send a message something like this, right? So I'm going to enter the message right over here. So yes, you can see that we have successfully entered the message right over here, and now we're going to enter the lead details in front of these details. Okay, so now it is asking me for the name. So let's suppose that we're going to enter the lead name right over here, but we're not going to enter the lead name manually, but instead we're going to map it. So you must be wondering what is mapping, right? So mapping is a method by Pabbly which means inserting the data from the previous step. And as you know, our previous step was the trigger step where we selected Wix as our trigger application. So we're going to map the details from the response of our trigger application only. And as soon as we're going to map these details, automatically my details will turn dynamic and change with every new response received. So over here, I'm going to give you an example that it is asking me for the name, right? So let's suppose that we're going to enter the name right over here manually by typing it like this, which is demo user. Then this will not change with every new response received because this is a static information and I've entered it manually. But if we're going to map this from the previous response, suppose I'm going to go in my previous response and look for name. And as you can see, name in my previous response, which is demo user, first name, last name. So let's suppose that we're going to map this from the previous response. We're going to map the first name, put a space, and then we're going to map the last name. And now this will definitely change because my previous response will also change. So that's why we do mapping right over here to run our workflow in real time. So same, we're going to map the email and another details too. So I'm going to look for email in the previous response, and as you can see, the email, which is demo@pabblytunes.com. So we're going to map it. We're going to map the phone number right over here. So I'm going to look for phone in the previous response, and as you can see, the same. So we're going to map it. It is saying destination. So as we're going to map this too, I'm going to look for the same in my previous response, and as you can see, the same. So we're going to map it. And after mapping this, it is saying travel dates. So here you can see that we have to map the preferred departure and return both. Okay, so instead of these brackets, I'll just remove these brackets for departure first, and then we're going to map the date right over here, and then we're going to look for it in the previous response, right? So over here you can see the preferred departure date. So we're going to map it, and then we're going to erase this return brackets, and then we're going to map the preferred return date too. And over here you can see the same. So we're going to map it. And now it is saying number of travelers. So we're going to map the number of travelers too. I'm going to look for it in the previous response, and as you can see, the same. So we're going to map it. And after mapping all of these details, we are going to move forward and click on this button which says save and send test request. And as I was going to click on this button, yes, you can see that we have successfully received a positive response, that we have successfully sent an automated message to our Google chat with the same details received from our Wix Forms submission. So yes, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open my Google chat and check for the new message sent. And yes, I'm going to open my Google charts, and yes, you can see a new message sent. Yes, you can see new travel inquiry received. You can see the name, email, phone, destination, travel dates, number of travelers, and the same message which we entered. So yes, with this we have successfully completed our workflow, but I'll just test this workflow once, and this time I'm going to give you a real-time example. So what we're going to do is I'm going to open my form again, and we're going to do another test submission with the new details so that we can check that if our workflow is running in real time or not, okay, without any manual efforts. So yes, we're going to enter the new details. So for the first name, I'm going to keep it as test, last name as user. Right over here it is saying emails, we're going to keep it as test@pabblytunes.com. For the phone number, I'm going to keep it as this, and now it is asking me for the travel city. So let's suppose that we're going to keep it as Mumbai right over here. So I'm going to enter it. We are going to move forward. It is saying preferred departure. So let's suppose we're going to keep it as 2nd of December. For the return, let's suppose we're going to keep it as 7th of December. And now for the number of travelers, let's suppose that we're going to keep it as 1, and then we're going to click on submit. And as I was going to click on submit, it is saying thanks, we have received your submission. So yes, with this we have successfully submitted this, and with this what has happened is that Wix Forms has sent the details of our test submission to our workflow. Pabbly captured the response, triggered the workflow, and further sent an automated message to our Google chat about the new inquiry details, right? So I'm going to open my Google chat and check for the new message sent, and this time we are not going back to our workflow and clicking on save and send test request. I'll directly open my Google charts right from here, and yes, you can see a new message already sent, which is the name, email, phone, destination, travel dates of the new inquiry received. So yes, you can see that we have successfully sent this message, and only the details which we have mapped has been changed, rest has remained same. So yes, with this we have successfully completed our workflow, and now I'll just summarize this workflow for you once. So for the trigger application, we selected Wix Forms. For the trigger event, we selected new form submission. For the action application, we selected Google Chat Hangout. And then for the action event, we selected create message, because I wanted that as soon as a new form submission is made in my Wix Forms, automatically with the help of the same details, my team should be notified on Google Chat about the new form submission made. So yes, this setups allows us to respond quickly to the client request, allowing us to provide timely information about the destinations, pricing, availability, and ultimately improving our response time and enhancing the client satisfaction. With this system in place, we can better manage and prioritize leads, helping us to secure more bookings and deliver a seamless planning experience for our potential clients. So yes, this was it for the video, and if you have any questions related to the video or the workflow, you can directly comment on this video. And for your reference, I'll just clone this workflow and share the workflow link in the description box so that you can access my workflow. I hope this video was helpful for you. Thank you for watching. So not only these applications, but with the help of Pabbly Connect, you can integrate many more applications. So if you have any doubts, you can reach us at support@pabbly.com. If you have any queries, you can reach us at forum.pabbly.com. And if you have any pricing related issues, you can follow this website. And if you find our videos helpful, do like and subscribe our channel. Thank you for watching.